Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has condemned the weekend killings in Barkin-Ladi local government of Plateau State. He said this during his visit to the state in the wake of attacks on villages in Plateau State that led to the death of at least 86 people.
Osinbajo said he was shocked to hear about the incident despite a peace pact recently signed by feuding nationalities in the area, but assured Plateau people that President Buhari had ordered all security agencies to ensure the perpetrators were arrested and prosecuted. Now, proceeding on the president's directive, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, says a special intervention force has been deployed to the state.
Now, the force will be headed by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, who has relocated to Plateau State. Now, the intervention force comprises an intelligence response team, a special tactical squad, 5 armored personnel carriers, surveillance helicopters, and 3 police mobile force units. Well, we have the Plateau State Commissioner for Information, Yakubu Dati, on the phone joining us this morning. And also via Skype, public affairs analyst Terence Kwanum joins us from Jos, Plateau State. Good morning and thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right. Of course, that's Terence Kwanum that we have joining us there. Let's even begin from the response of stakeholders who are accusing or alleging, if you like, the Plateau State Governor, Simon Lalong, of not engaging enough with security agencies in the state. According to them, it seems to be just leaving it to the federal government to tackle. Well, what do you say about that?
You know, when we heard of the killings in Plateau, we became so interested because we wanted to see the dimension that brought about the killings in Plateau, because they don't have an anti-open grazing law. So we wanted to know why. But before our curiosity could even come to place, the Mayati Allah Cattle Breeders Association came on with the North Central Chairman, Danladi Chiroma, and claimed that 300 cows were rustled, and that was why there was a reprisal attack. It now became a very easy situation because somebody has claimed responsibility of the attacks, and he was to be arrested immediately. But what do we hear? The federal government is politicizing the situation. The Plateau State government is politicizing the situation. The man that claimed responsibility of the killings is still free, going about like even like the victims. And now it now amazes us. Is it that the Mayati Allah has immune in this country to be killing people left, right, and center? If somebody rustle your cow, why don't you go and destroy his farm? Why take a land? And then you begin to think about it. I went to Barkin-Ladi myself, and I realized that the people that were killed in Barkin-Ladi was over 200. And then by the time we were in Barkin-Ladi, we realized that the military was compelling the villagers to dig holes and bury people like garbages, so that they would try and get only the figure of 86 before they would get protected. So dumping people in open holes was now a bargain for them to be secured in their own villages. It was so amazing. Now the vice president came into Plateau and addressed the stakeholders without ordering the arrest of the leadership of Mayati. It means that this killing will go on and on and on without stopping, because the killers who have been claiming responsibilities over these killings are going about free. And this morning, Mayati Allah also came out to threaten the people of Plateau that there will be more killings in Plateau, except the 300 rustled cows are brought back. This is the situation.
Okay, Terence, first off, what you said about the soldiers anyway is an allegation, which we hope the soldiers, the Nigerian Army, would come out to at least clarify for us exactly, for us to know what really the officers are doing there. But then, from what you're just saying, that it seems to be like a textbook case, really, of what happened in Benue, now happening in Jos, Plateau State, and even the reason given for it. Are you worried, really, that the impunity of it alone could even make it degenerate even further?
Of course, because the narrative is the same with the narrative of Benue State. Cows were rustled. And if you interact with these villagers, you realize that it is only somebody who is trained in the art of herding that can be able to rustle a cow and take a cow away from the scene of crime. And if you look at the narrative the Mayati people has given, they said 300 cows were rustled. Military went after these people. These people stood, fought the military, and still rustled the cow. How can you not be trained in the house of rustling, and then you are exchanging fire with the military, but the cows are still in control of you? You know, the narrative cannot hold. But you know, because they have the immunity to be killing people, certain narratives that are not tenable and going scot-free, that is why they keep playing with the sensibilities of Nigeria.
Terence, let me come in here very quickly before we go on a quick break. It is true that these killings predate this administration. Since 2000, we've had such, you know, pockets of killings here and there. In response to that, there was a special military task force put in place in Jos Plateau State, and of course the you know, more of the north central part of the country. What exactly is the situation? Are you saying that in spite of the presence of this military joint task force, that these killings have continued unabated, and then now there's a deployment of DIG operations and what have you? How much difference would it make?
You know, we don't see any difference coming in because we have been on this for 6 months in this country. The first time there was an attack in Benue in January, the DIG came to Benue, and what did he tell the Benue people? That the terrain was too complex for the police, that the police are not trained to go off track. Now, if you go to Barikin Ladi, if you go to Guma in Benue State, where there was the same situation, it is still the same terrain. So why keep sending these people where they cannot go and fight off track? And you don't need to send the DIG to go to Plateau State. Somebody has claimed responsibility of this attack. The person is not in Barikin Ladi. The person is not in Plateau State. Daladi Chiroma is in Nasarawa State. Go after the leadership of the Mayati Allah, and then they will bring the sponsors of these killings, they will bring the people they have sent in the bush to kill people, and this will come to an end.
All right. With the way these perpetrators, of course, who have been touted as herdsmen, handle sophisticated weapons as AK-47 and others, would you really say that there is more to this than meets the eye, that they might not even be herdsmen at all?
Yeah, it's something we have discussed here before, and it has not changed. You know, the issue of herdsmen handling sophisticated weapons, we are already aware that all they are fighting in the Middle Belt is because they want to use the Sahel route. And what are they using the Sahel route to do? They are using the Sahel route to traffic in arms. They are using the Sahel route to launder money. They are using the Sahel route to do drugs. So if you look at the weapons they are using these weapons for the illicit businesses they are doing in this country. And that is why if you tell them to ranch these cows, they will go haywire and want to bring down the whole country. It is because of what they are using, because there are no security checks on the Sahel route. So they use the Sahel route, and this rustling they are always talking about, rustling. The people that are rustling cows in Nigeria are not rustling the animals. They are rustling the cargoes on this animal. And that is why it is very difficult to handle the issue of rustling and the issue of cattle. Now, when they rustle their cows, instead of facing the people that are doing this business with them, they come and kill innocent Nigeria that have nothing to do with this. Because the Sahel route passes through your village, and then somebody comes to rustle your cow, then you go and attack the villagers who knows nothing about it. And when they tell you to ranch your cow, you refuse that you not ranch your cow. It is only herdsmen that they will tell you that animals attack them in the bush, people rustle their cows and kill them, and when you tell them, okay, come out of the bush, come and ranch your animals so that nobody will kill you, nobody will rustle your animals, they tell you no. So why are they insisting to do open grazing when they know that open grazing is risky?
Okay, so now what exactly is the way forward? President Buhari has said life has become really cheap in Nigeria. Vice President has said there is a need to look for lasting solutions. The Benue government and a few others have come up with the anti-grazing law. And then again, on the other hand, you have the ranching that will go on in another 10 states in that region. Of course, money has been set aside to do that. What exactly in all of this is the way forward?
We'll take the 3 dimensions quickly.
Yes.
The issue, ranching is global best practice of layering livestock. If Nigerians are serious with livestock business, we must all go to ranching. And the issue of the livestock plan the federal government is bringing, I think they are just trying to bring a mischief to this country. Because it is easier to tell states to go and enact the law on open grazing prohibition on ranches law, so that anybody that wants to go into livestock business will go to those states and follow the law.
Yeah, but a state like Benue, sorry to cut you, a state like Benue is saying we don't even have land to give you for ranching. So it's like government itself is between the devil and the deep blue sea.
No, the issue is, if you want to come to Benue and then collect land for ranching, obviously you have undermined the law in Benue. The law in Benue has provided every available environment suitable to rear animals in Benue. So there is no need whatsoever to go and be talking about the issue of bringing a livestock plan, collecting land from government. People collect land from government in Benue State.
Terence, are you there? It seems we lost connection with Terence. So we'll try to
hope we can reconnect as soon as possible. You know, this really has become a thorn in the flesh or a bone in the neck, not only for government, but for Nigerians, both home and abroad, you know, who just wonder every day. You wake up and you hear about killings of dozens of Nigerians, and it seems, you know, with the response coming from government, that government seems almost
the word
helpless, more or less. You know, when President Buhari says life is becoming cheap in Nigeria, I've been trying to wrap my mind around it to exactly understand what he means by that. Recall that Professor Wole Soyinka said just weeks ago that, look, don't be too ashamed or too shy to call for external help if that is what it will require to, you know, bring this to an end, because VP is saying we need to prefer lasting solutions.
And then what baffles some Nigerians is that when you are in charge and people are looking up to you, you know, to solve a problem, and then you are lamenting instead. What kind of posture are you, you know, putting out there?
I was in a discussion with a few people the other day, and they've been like, look, because of the simple fact that President Buhari allegedly is a patron of Miyetti Allah, that maybe it is time for him to begin to consider actually renouncing his patronship, if you like, if you could use that word, of Miyetti Allah, so that he can actually take a decisive step. Now we have pictures showing at the National Assembly you have cows grazing freely in our hallowed chambers. Cows are treading freely
where ordinary Nigerians dare not go.
Like our guest this morning on the show, Charles Ideho, saying that, look, for journalists, you need accreditation to come anywhere close to the National Assembly.
Seat of power.
That's it.
A seat of power.
How do these cows even get close to this premises?
And it's not the first time we're seeing something like this. We've seen cows on the runways at our airports. It's not something new, really. And then when you talk about ranching, some want it, some don't want it. And that is why the government seems helpless. And then there are those that are saying that government has no business in even establishing ranches in the first place.
Yeah, but then again, this is a clear and present danger. It is anything to solve a problem. What is important is we should solve it. But then again, there's 70 billion that's going to be spent in the first 3 years.
Entirely 179
billion. Who is going to bear the cost? Are Nigerians willing, ready to bear this cost, to see that these killings actually come to an end?
And to really solve the problem, because we are told that just 10 states are on board. Though two states are saying that they don't even want to be part of it.
Ebonyi and
Benue State. So will it be across the state and will people embrace it? But when you see activities like sad incidents like this, some are suspicious that when you allow such people that you think are dangerous, you know, to your place, it could be dangerous.
It might be employed to take over your land, which is what some people have been saying. Our guest on the show yesterday, remember Kabir Shitu, Alhaji Kabir Shitu, who is actually the head of cattle rearers in Bayelsa State, said the real problem is people are not necessarily amenable to change. When change happens, a lot of people will resist it until it is put into practice, and only for you to discover that, why haven't we done this all this while?
Exactly.
And to think that cattle ranching has always even been part of us. We used to practice this. Obudu Cattle Ranch, you know, Mambila Plateau and all the rest of them. What happened? Why did we stop that? Only to go the way of
countries in East Africa doing it, and they're making money from it. And then the implication of this is what we see on the front pages every time, killings, and then, you know, reprisal attacks as well. Innocent lives being taken away.
You know, the more troubling one is when you hear
this is very sad.
This was a reprisal attack, or these have been reprisal attacks where 300 cows have gone missing. They did not even tell us that 300 cows were killed, but that they've gone missing. And as a matter of fact, there's a threat now. That's what it is from Magban, the Mieti Allah, that if Benue State, for example, if they don't produce the cows, these killings will continue. And then again, if the anti-open grazing law is not repealed or upturned, we will see more killings. And then it's like
security operatives are doing what again?
Nothing.
They've been deployed there to do what again? And that is why Terence said what he said earlier. Someone came out to say that this is why this happened. What have you done? You remember another person, too, an official of a Magban at 1.2 in Benue State, gave reasons that about 1,000 cows were rustled, and that was why the killings, you know, took place. And it's not the first time. If you go to Adamawa State, the same killing. Look at what is happening there in Numan and then in Fulani communities there.
Same thing.
Attacks, counter-attacks, every time.
It just means that the NOA, the National Orientation Agency, has a lot on its plate. It's just not stepping up.
And then Abari said he was shocked that it happened.
Everybody's expressing shock, and nobody seems to be doing anything.
Everybody saying he was shocked.
You're shocked. You're shocked. And I'm sure that there is money earmarked for NOA to actually do its job. Educate those who are not enlightened enough. Educate them in their own language. Go to their villages. Tell them, look, a human life is more sacrosanct than anything you can imagine.
And you are the same, regardless of the tribe. Regardless of the tribe.
Regardless of the tribe.
Imagine the unity Nigerians experienced when Super Eagles defeated Iceland just a few days ago. Imagine, nobody thought about their tribe. It was one Nigeria. People were celebrating, hugging themselves. And for that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the political problems we face, not the religion, not ethnicity,
coloration,
people were united for that split second. And that is why many are saying that the National Orientation Agency at this time needs to come out to say that we are one. Nigerians are the same, regardless of your tribe, wherever. And remember yesterday, Shitu was saying that maybe the federal government should remove indigenship from the Constitution.
And that's where we need to start from, so that every Nigerian has a sense of belonging. It doesn't matter if I'm Fulani, I should, you know, just have it at the back of my mind that if I want to go into ranching, I should feel free to ranch in Ebonyi, in Calabar, wherever. All I need to do is this the money that I have? This is how much land I can purchase to graze or to, you know, to ranch my cattle.
And imagine the benefits. Really.
Imagine the economic
benefits. Economic opportunities for the states. You know, you're talking about states, you know, generating more revenues for themselves, so that they don't go cap in hand to the federal government. These are opportunities in agriculture alone. The federal government is talking about diversifying the economy and not concentrating on crude oil generation.
Yes, we want to diversify the economy using agriculture as a major plank of diversifying the economy. Yet, the very foundation of agriculture, the farmers are being killed every day. Now it's beginning to express itself. We're seeing it all around us. You go to the market now, you see tomatoes are very expensive. If you find them. Cucumbers, before, if you wanted to buy cucumbers, you'll see those fresh green cucumbers. But now they're all yellowish because you know what? They're not even there for anybody to buy, and whatever is left there, nobody's ready to buy because they're too expensive. Everything is becoming expensive. Watermelons are expensive.
When the food basket of the nation is attacked, what do we expect? And then are decisive steps taken? And if they have been taken, are they really, you know, effective enough to stop this?
And you know what? 2050,
we have Richard
is right around.
We have Richard Amuwa. Yes, we have Richard Amuwa this time. Good morning to you, Richard. Thank you for joining us. The latest killings in Plateau State, just adding again to the endless list of those being killed across Nigeria. What do you have to say first off?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's just so unfortunate, and this senseless killing is becoming And unfortunately, this is not the first time. Second time, in fact, I think he has become accountable about the killing in Plateau State. Like somebody said yesterday, there's no war in Nigeria, and people are being killed left, right, and center. It's becoming so unfortunate. I did say on one of my appearances on the TVC that I know that even the armies are overwhelmed right now with the situation that the police is supposed to handle. We can't keep denying the fact that Nigeria needs a state police to help their people. That Nigeria needs, community police to help their people. The more we keep saying Nigeria cannot handle security situation, we cannot handle this, cannot handle that. We are being self-denial. And when these people are killed, we move on like there's nothing has happened. So I think that government of the day need to really wake up and do the right thing. Fundamentally, security is zero in this country.
Yes, and as a security expert yourself, Richard Amoa, I was listening to a security expert say the other day that the real problem is that we've not been able to deploy intelligence to actually break through the planning stages of these killings. I mean, you can imagine that somebody, somewhere, or a group of people would have been using the phones and all kinds of technology at their disposal, and were not able to break into it at that point to actually prevent it from happening in the first place.
Yeah. You are right, Ngozi. You are right in the sense that security is about information. Security is intelligence. When we had the network service in Nigeria, I think one of the things our folks said was that it's really going to help to fight insecurity. Because like you said, there's no way I will communicate from one point to another without the communication network taking note of what I'm saying, or the security agency going back to track my information. And like we said again, the world has become not just a global village anymore. The world is in our palm because of the Android we carry around. You see, whatever all those guys are doing, they plan it somewhere. So I think the intelligence network needs to be improved on, and we need to use our technology. These days, there's drone everywhere. There's CCTV placed in the cloud here and there. So I don't know why we're not deploying this in Nigeria, up to now. So the truth of the matter is that the more we depend on physical security, that is having army and the police to walk around. And don't forget again that in Plateau State, in Benue, in all those areas, the villages are too far away from each other. And there's no way you can place, you can continue to place static security in all those villages. So I think the attackers are taking the porosity of the villages. They're taking it to their own advantage. But what I'm going to say here as a security consultant is that we said it time with that number. The local communities need to be involved in this. The chiefs need to be involved in this. And the moment the odd hands are on deck, we're going to move on.
Okay, and then well, you're talking about involving the local communities and even security operatives, even the army. I had an analyst earlier who is now accusing them of, even doing something that we still need to clarify. And then, so when security operatives are not even doing what they are supposed to do at the right time, and then things like this are happening, or at least to even forestall a recurrence, really, what then remains to be done by the government, which many think is not even doing enough?
Don't forget what I just said in the past, that the security agencies are not indigenous of those places. Local police or the community police or the local people, they are their brothers and sisters. You cannot open your eyes and see your wife or your daughter being slaughtered. No, it's not possible. But a situation where the security agencies are overwhelmed, if possible, if they need to lay their hand and run away, they will do that. But the local community or the what are they called? Those people, those community policing from the villages, they will fight. They will stand and fight. For example, all these vigilantes and other stuff. You see, I still maintain my stand, and until we go back to it, it has worked in another part of the country where we are to use our own people, to defend our people. And it's very important. The security agencies are overwhelmed. Then they train the local vigilantes.
In addition to that, Richard, before we let you go very quickly, some people who are on ground are saying that Operation Delta Safe, they seem to be left on their own. They are wondering whether, the security agencies cannot do more to work in tandem, that they seem to be working against each other's interest, and it's further helping this killings. Yes,
I've heard that, and sometimes it could be true, sometimes not true. The truth of the matter again is that security agencies in Nigeria, up to now, they are working against each other. It's obvious because people want to say who is winning, who is on top. When it comes to the issue we have in our hands right now, we don't care who is winning or who have done it. It is a collective responsibility for all the security agencies. They need to get the information and pass it on and get the right person to deal with it.
Okay. So, Richard Amoah, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your insight and, of course, your input on TVC Breakfast this Tuesday morning. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll move on to other issues right now, but we'll take a very short break. We'll catch our breaths, and then when we come back, we'll continue. All right, well, it seems we have Terence back. Oh, Terence is back on the with line. Us. All right, nice to have you back, Terence. We just spoke with the security experts earlier, and he talked about involving locals, training maybe for perhaps like the civilian JTF we had in the northeastern part of the country. We supported the Nigerian army there. That could work because of the peculiar nature of inhabitants of that area.
If we involve civilian JTF, the police will come and disarm them. I will make sure they are not effective. We tried it with the local vigilante. If you will recall that at the moment, the civilian JTF leader in Benue is in the police custody and most of his men. The police will not allow these people to operate. The fundamental thing is that we as Nigerians should know why they are shading the Miati Allah people, because they have always come out to claim responsibility of this killings, and nobody has ever called them to question them. This is a country that in the scene of a robbery, a vehicle with an inscription of the Senate President was seen at the scene of the robbery, and then the Senate President was invited by the police. But in this situation, the leadership of Miat come out themselves and they claim these killings, and nobody will even invite them for questions. Yes, you have made that point over and over again. Terence Kwanom, just hold on. Let's take it to the Plateau State Commissioner for Information, Yakubu Dati, who's joining us via phone. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, first off, what exactly are you able to tell us as to the number of casualties in these killings? Because the numbers continue to change. Some say 86, others claim 200, others 120. Can you give us a true picture?
Well, I want to start by appreciating Nigerians for standing with Plateau at this trying moment, because what is happening is a national calamity, and we are also happy that a lot of responses positively were received. Immediately, the police have already made clear that about 86 people were is in their records, and at this point, we align with the report of the police. Of course, that report came in yesterday, so if there is any fresh report, I'm sure we'll get it. But at this point, we appreciate that immediately this happened, our governor, Simon Lalong, left whatever he was doing in Abuja and quickly rushed to Jos and participated in the restoration of peace, the clearing of road, and the restoration of confidence. And preemptively, he took the action of declaring, imposing curfew in 3 local governments affected, namely Riom, Barkiladi, and Jos South local government area. And just last night, Mr. Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, was in Jos, where he conferred with traditional rulers, religious leaders, and leaders of the tribal and ethnic unions, where we had a very useful discussion. And at the end of the day, we had a lot of quick wins. For instance, the police have moved the DIG operations, Mr. Habila Joshak, to Jos. We have additional police and security support to the state. And that has really helped a lot, because it has simmered down and the crisis has not escalated. We also had the Director General of NEMA, who also has promised to send relief materials immediately to Jos. And also this area where there is a particular flashpoint is an area called Gashish around Barking-Ladi local government. The police have also agreed to set up a mobile unit there to be stationed there permanently, mobile unit barracks. And as I speak with you this morning, we have also received a message that President Muhammadu Buhari will be visiting Plateau State to confer with the people and also get first-hand information following the invitation of Governor Simon Lalong. So all these have also strengthened our confidence in the ability of the federal government to step in to assist what is happening at the state at this moment. And of course, we know that there are also political and other people who may want to take advantage of the unfortunate situation, and the governor make it very explicit in his broadcast he had yesterday. And the need for us to look to bury the differences and look at Plateau.
Okay, Yakubu, let me come in here now. The head of MACBAN in the North Central, Shiruma, came out to give reasons for the killings in Plateau State. Would you say that is politically motivated somehow? And what effort, if there is any anyway, is the Plateau State government doing to maybe at least investigate what he said?
Well, yesterday when the Vice President was around, the chairman of Mieti Allah, the Gongon Jos was there, the leader chairman of Bokos local government, all of them make presentations. People from the Irigwe and Basa made representations directly to the Vice President on the matter. And I'm sure that discussion will continue today. Our focus now is the restoration of peace in the state and also allowing the relevant agencies who have such responsibilities to carry out responsibilities. Of course, we were happy yesterday when it was made clear that there have been some arrests and people are looking at the possibility of those people being charged to court, because that will further demonstrate and create confidence such that people will not resort to self-help. I must also point at this point that we are grieving in Plateau State, and that is why our emphasis is the restoration of peace, because we wouldn't want to go into discussions or analysis with other interest groups that will exacerbate the already tense situation. So we want to continue to urge the Nigerians to continue to remember us in their prayers and the security sources to continue to give us the cover such that the dialogue that has been initiated will begin to yield results.
Commissioner for Information in Plateau State, thank you very much for your time on the show.
Thank you, for the opportunity.
All right, I believe we still have Terence Kwanum on Skype with us. Terence, you heard what the Information Commissioner Yakubu Dati said there about the political, the tendency to want to take advantage, politically to score some cheap goals, if you like, almost re-echoing what the president has said.
It's quite unfortunate that 200 people died in your state and the commissioner will come out and be talking in that manner. How can you not want to persecute the killers of your citizens when your oath of office is simply to protect life and property? And let me emphasize this. All this security they are moving to Plateau State is just to protect the aggressors and not the victims. Because all they are doing now is for the indigenous not to come out and attack the aggressor. So that
that's speculatory anyway.
Yeah, no, it's not speculative. It's what they have been doing.
We cannot allow you to toe that line because, of course, we know the responsibility of the Nigeria police, the soldiers, the instructions they've been given to go and protect people there.
No, they are not protecting the victims. They are protecting the aggressors. Because you cannot come they kill 200 people. What are you supposed to do as a police officer? Is to look for the people that perpetrated the crime, arrest and persecute them. Now, in this situation, somebody has come out to say, I killed people because they rustled 300. Has any police officer gone after the Mighty Allah None of them has gone after the Mayati Allah. They are already occupying Plateau State to make sure that there's no retaliation to harm any of the aggressors. So it's not a speculation, it is a fact. And this must stand. If the police refuse to arrest the Mayati Allah in this situation, they are complicit for the second time in this country. I will not take such a thing from them. The Mayati leadership must be arrested.
Yes, indeed, and that point is very well taken this morning. Terence Kwanom is a public affairs analyst joining us via Skype in Jos, Plateau State, the epicenter of the latest killings in Nigeria. Of course, we're joined also by the Plateau State Commissioner for Information, Yakubu Dati. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
As well as Richard Amua.
And, of course, Richard Amua, a security consultant there.